Discussion keeps the world turning.
This is Roundtable.
Welcome to a special Spring Festival edition of Roundtable. I'm Heyang, coming to you from Beijing. The biggest holiday in China is here, and whether you're enjoying the celebrations with family or exploring new places, it's a time to come together and share the joy. Today, we'll take a closer look at how Chinese people celebrate Spring Festival and how international friends find these rich traditions. We'll also talk about life in China during this festive season, especially with the focus on family reunions. Plus, we have the inside scoop on some of the best places to visit during the holidays. Joining us via video link are Lizzy Bessenger from South Africa, who's been living in China for over 6 years. And she's an English teacher and content creator. Hey, Lizzy.
Hi, Heyang.
It's lovely to have you on the show. And also we have Jack Forsdike from Yorkshire in the UK. And he's been here for about 4 years and now, surprise, surprise, also a content creator. Hi, Jack.
Hi, Heyang. Lovely to be here.
And you're coming in from Yorkshire today.
I am actually, yes. I've just been back with my family to celebrate Christmas in the UK for the first time in 4 years, actually. So
that's a very special time. Yes, and to spend time with family. And Lizzy, you're coming in to us from Kunming today, right?
Yeah.
Lovely. And I'm here in Beijing. And join us for a lively discussion about the Spring Festival season. And when you're an expat living in China, what's that like, right? So let's jump right into today's discussion. So guys, how did you first perceive the Chinese New Year before coming to China, and how do you view it now?
Okay, so before I came to China, I didn't really know that much about Chinese New Year. I just knew it's a long holiday for me, so that was an exciting time. But after actually being here and visiting friends' hometowns, I really see it now, as a culture embrace where families get to see each other once a year and just relax together. So yeah, it's been a really good time. Chinese New Year now is very special, and I don't travel that much during Chinese New Year anymore to other countries. I love to stay in China during this time.
Oh, may I ask why? Because a lot of places are kind of busy in China. Some places you have to really pick and choose. Can be,
During the Chinese New Year, I have traveled before, like to bigger cities where it's very busy, like tourist attractions here in China. But now I just go with friends, go to their hometown.
Yeah. Well, you're telling the story of someone who truly knows the place and has quite ample experience of being around. And now you know how to really just relax and enjoy China. Yeah, and Jack, tell me, has your perception of the Chinese New Year changed at all after spending a few years living in China?
I think so, for sure. When I was in the UK, especially when I was studying in Manchester, there's quite an established Chinese community there. So I did see a lot of the celebrations that generally take place during Chinese New Year. We used to have line dance parades and a lot of festivities and fireworks and activities. But obviously, I couldn't really see the family side of things and how much it really meant for everyone to be together with their families at that period. So after I moved to China, especially last year, which was the first year I was able to spend Chinese New Year with my wife and her parents-in-law, I think during that year, it really hit home how important it is for everyone to be with their families and celebrating together. We actually took a sleeper train from Guangzhou up to Harbin, 37 hours. So it was 2 nights and a day on the train. And I think seeing that everyone on that train was from either Harbin or the surrounding area of Heilongjiang, and they were all making the same journey just to get home to their families and spend Chinese New Year together. I think it really hit home to me how important it is for everyone that they really need to spend that period of time with their families, no matter where they are in China or what kind of trip they need to make to get home.
That's quite the journey. Even just trying to envision that as a Chinese person, come from the very southern part of China to go up and up and up into the northeastern part of China. And do you live in Heilongjiang in Harbin these days?
That's right, yeah. My wife and her family are from Harbin. So since I left my job in Guangzhou, we moved back up to spend more time with her family. And now we live in Harbin.
That's quite the move. And also very different climate as well. Like now in Guangzhou, it would be warm, but in Harbin, it's icy cold.
It's true, but I think I have a slightly controversial take that I actually prefer the winter in Harbin to Guangzhou. Because I think in Harbin, at least it's really beautiful outside and you know that it's going to be cold. But when you get back home, you've always got such lovely heating. But Guangzhou, I really struggled with the cold indoors sometimes during the winter. No matter if I was outside or inside, I always found it really difficult just for that 2-3 weeks during winter, and especially with the high humidity. So I actually think Harbin's winter is a fantastic place to explore.
Wow, that's a major vote of confidence for going to brave the cold.
I love it.
Yeah. What is the atmosphere like in the city you live in, respectively, during the Chinese New Year holiday? What do you see from your international perspective?
Oh, so yeah, everything is just nice. Like you're driving around on the e-bike, like all the Chinese mamas are practicing their dances, with their red dresses on, and you just can feel the vibes. And the kids are like hanging up lanterns everywhere, even just in trees, and everyone's playing with it. So it's just a vibe that I really think you don't get anywhere else in the world. Like no matter what kind of Chinese community there are, maybe in different countries, like even in South Africa, there's a big Chinese community. It's just not the same. And actually being in China and experiencing just the daily life that leads up to even the Chinese New Year, and then of course during the Chinese New Year.
Well, what is it like in Harbin from previous experiences? And maybe also compare with Yorkshire, when it's the festive season.
I think there's honestly a lot of similarities between the two. In that I think whether you're going back to Yorkshire for Christmas like I did, or going back to Harbin for Chinese New Year, it's just so great being able to walk around, whether you go to a restaurant or you're in the supermarket, and see so many different generations together. Like we can often see, 3 generations, occasionally even 4 generations of one family all together doing things, whether they're shopping or eating out at the restaurant. And I think it's so lovely to be able to see everyone actually back at home and enjoying that time together. And I think as well, when we are with our own family, of course, it's a great time for us to see, obviously, some of my wife's extended family and then friends as well. Because obviously one of the great side effects of everyone coming back for either Christmas or Chinese New Year respectively means that everyone is back in their hometown where they grew up, and everyone's friends are all together again. So it means that after we've spent a couple of days with our family, you see lots and lots of young friend groups all out together enjoying the time as well, because maybe they no longer live in the same cities and they only can get together during the Chinese New Year as well. So I think it's almost an extension of going home and seeing your family over Christmas, is that you can also see friends in that period too.
Yeah, like I think what Jack said is so true. Like for us, like during Christmas, right? Christmas is a big holiday for us where we will travel like across the world or across countries to be with our family, same as Chinese New Year. But Christmas is like, let's say, a 2 or 3 day thing, right? It's like Christmas Eve is a really big thing, and then Christmas Day is a big thing where all the families are together. But Chinese New Year is like a whole week. And then like a whole month, 2 months of celebrations leading up to it and even after it. So just Chinese New Year, that's a big difference for me. It's like how long it can last here and how families can really get together during that time. And then even friends seeing each other, where I think for us foreigners, sometimes we only have like 2 or 3 days with family members.
Well, actually, even for Chinese people, for most of the country, the national holiday is only 7 days. And it's 8 days this year. And for most people, if you work for, I guess, a company or organization, then you got to follow the dates. But if you have more flexible employment, then I guess you can really take your time and enjoy that extended holiday period, which sounds great, but not everybody can do it.
To be fair, in the UK, it's a 2 days of public holiday for Christmas. So for us, even 5, 6, 7 days, it feels like a long period.
So is it not sort of attached to a weekend at least? So people can have like a combo of days?
Because obviously in the Gregorian calendar, it's always the 25th of December. So it can come up, either on a weekday or a weekend. It's never switched around. But if it does come up on a weekend, then you will obviously still get the 2 days public holiday attached to that. So then you're lucky and you maybe get 4 days. But if it just comes up, say Tuesday and Wednesday, then you only have those 2 public days of holiday. Different companies have their own rules. Some will give their give their employees the entire period off between Christmas and New Year's Day on the 1st of January, but not all will. And when I've been back this year, I have had friends that have just been back for 3 days, and then on the 26th or 27th December, well, not the 26th because that's a public holiday, but on the 27th or the 28th, they have gone back to work and they've maybe left Yorkshire already. So I think it does already feel like an extended period having 5, 6, 7 days where nobody has to work, apart from obviously the essential services.
Well, but in China, actually, the real, quote unquote, real public holidays are limited. And for us to have such a long period of days off, actually, we need to work ahead of time and after time to make up for those days. And also just considering how vast China is, and for folks to really be able to travel to their hometown, then it makes sense to have these longer holidays, so people aren't too stressed out to travel and they really get to spend at least a couple of days at home. So it's really interesting, our sort of perceptions and our expectations of the holiday and how that is impacted by or impacts how the public holidays are being scheduled. And yeah, you hear it from here in China. And do you guys have, the most memorable experience of the Spring Festival celebrations to share with us?
Okay, so for me, I just feel like I always love like the Chinese New Year's Day, when all the kids, the elders give the children the hongbao, the red pocket. Like I just love the faces of the kids just being so happy and everyone's just laughing at them because they're getting money. I think that's a real special thing. And also here, on Chinese New Year's Day, right, you wear new clothes. So that's an exciting thing for me. Like before, I was just like, oh, I can buy some new clothes just for a thing. But now it actually has some meaning to it. So I think the New Year's Day is really the special day. Just everyone laughing and having a good.
For me, something that sticks out in my head as particularly memorable would be, I think last year back in Harbin when we were all wrapping dumplings together, preparing dumplings together. So that was the first time that I've been able to do that. And I quite like to cook and bake, using flour and things. So I had a little bit of an understanding and I really wanted to learn how to properly make dumplings. So that was one thing that was really great for me to be able to also share a connection with my mother-in-law, who's normally responsible for doing all of the dumpling wrapping and preparing the dough and obviously preparing the mix as well, and then actually wrapping them at the end. So it was really great for me to be able to feel like I was helping her do that and also learn it myself and then take some of her work away from her so she could relax a little bit more. That was something that was really great for me.
What a role model for all son-in-laws. You're getting major brownie points from lots of our listeners, I'm sure. Yeah. As we talk about the Chinese New Year traditions and celebrations, another growing trend in this country is tourism, especially during the Spring Festival period. Whether it's the sunny beaches of Sanya or the winter wonderland of Harbin, more and more people are taking the opportunity to explore new destinations. Let's take a quick listen to what the tourism bureaus in these two cities are offering to travelers, both local and international. Here's Albert Yep, Director General of the Sanya Tourism Board.
Usually during a spring festival holiday is a peak season for tourism in Sanya. And this year particularly special as it marks for the first World Intangible Cultural Heritage Chinese Spring Festival. So besides our tourist attraction, such as the Nanshan Temple, which is known for the tallest Guan Yin statue in the world, Wuzhou Island, famous for its crystal clear waters and the colorful coral reefs, and other traditional scenic spots, such as the Luhuitou Park, Tianyang Haijiao, and others. And because for such a remarkable year, Sanya has organized a series of events themed Welcome to Sanya Charm Treats 2025. This event includes a New Year garden party at Dadong High Square, a poetry and art exhibition along Sanya Bay, a Latin festival market, and many other exciting activities in town. I also would like to take this opportunity to welcome all the guests around the world to experience the vibrant and joyous atmosphere of the Chinese New Year in Sanya.
And here's Gu Xiaochuan with the Harbin Municipal Bureau of Culture, Radio, Television, and Tourism.
外国游客来哈尔滨呢，我觉得可以说是恰逢其时。
If you're visiting Harbin as a foreign tourist, a perfect time to come is during the Spring Festival period. First, there's the 9th Asian Winter Games where you can watch exciting winter sports live. We've also created 10 special tour routes around the game venues with great food and fun activities. You can even try winter sports like skiing and karting yourself as there are so many locations around the city. Another highlight is Chinese New Year. If you spend the Spring Festival here, you'll experience unique Northeastern customs. For example, we have China's oldest ice lantern fair at Jiaoling Park, which has been around for over 60 years. Plus, there are bustling winter markets just an hour outside the city where you can enjoy food, ice activities, and the festive atmosphere. Harbin is also famous for its winter activities. You can try ice fishing on the Songhua River inside heated tents while enjoying hot pot, so you can catch your fish and eat at the same time. Also for foodies, Harbin is a place rich in both Chinese food like sweet and sour pork or iron pot braised goose to the exotic cuisine like Russian food. There's something for every taste. Harbin is also the city of music. You can enjoy elegant concerts in our theaters or street performances, like pianos being played on pedestrian Zhongyang Street, where anyone can play. That if you spend time during Spring Festival here, it will be a unique Chinese New Year experience of winter sports, local traditions, music, and food all together. It's definitely an experience you won't forget.
既有运动年，既有特色的民俗年，还有音乐年，还有美食年。
And what have the tourism bureaus in Sanya and Harbin planned to make travel easier for international travelers?
There are measures we have implemented in order to make it easier for our foreign visitor to visit. First of all, leveraging the visa waiver policy, we are increasing the number of direct flights with our inbound national source market, such as Moscow, Seoul, Osaka, and others, connecting more than 20 cities in the world, excluding those in China. We also increased the connectivity with Hong Kong and Singapore, which is the two major international aviation hubs, making Sanya be more accessible to the world. So besides the transportation to Sanya, we also very much taking care of the experience during the stay. So ensuring the visitor is safe and happy. And secondly, it is the digital solution, such as I've just mentioned about the Hainan Hai Pay, providing solution to e-payment in Hainan with a wide coverage from taxis to local cuisine. When you visit the scenic spot or other facilities, most of our staff are capable in foreign languages. And also, there are clear signboards to direct and assist. And thirdly, is the package and promotions. We encourage and support the local sightseeing and travel agencies to combine with the local cultural experience, such as attending to traditional festivals, local museums, along with outdoor activities such as hiking, golfing, yacht, or diving. So overall, we are leveraging the visa waiver program for Hainan from policy to business in order to maximize the potential and ensuring our foreign visitor can enjoy their trip in China.
哈尔滨呢，它是东北唯一的一个纳入241小时过境免签的城市。
Harbin is the only city in northeast China that is included in the 240-hour visa-free transit policy. Since this was introduced, we've made many improvements to make it easier for international tourists to visit. For many tourist spots, we've added bilingual signage in both Chinese and English. Plus, we have English-speaking staff at all service windows. On pedestrian Zhongyang Street, there's Central Avenue International Tourism Distribution Center, where we provide not only Chinese and English support, but also Russian and Japanese translation. The center offers a range of services like luggage storage and rentals for warm clothing, making it a one-stop hub for international tourists. At Harbin Ice Snow World, we've added English guides, translations, and signs, and there are cross-border payment options at each attraction. Our airport also has a fast-track entry channel, so tourists can quickly get to the city. Whether it's shopping or dealing with other needs, we've got services to help, from language support to shopping assistance, all tailored for international visitors.
都有配套这样的专门针对外国游客。
It sounds like both Sanya and Harbin are offering some amazing experiences for international travelers and domestic alike. And these are only two examples of the many cities that are beefing up efforts to welcome tourists. Guys, Jack and Lizzy, if you had a chance to visit another city in China, is Harbin or Sanya on your list? Well, Jack, because you live in Harbin, so you probably would pick another place. I mean, any Chinese city you want to go?
Certainly a lot. I mean, Honestly, it's funny that Lizzie here is in Kunming because I think Kunming and Yunnan is also a place I'd love to visit in Chinese New Year because I think it's somewhere where there's a nice, comfortable temperature should I want to escape from Harbin one day. And I think it's also, I've been there very shortly once with my parents. I took them around Yunnan on a sort of 8-9 day trip. But I would love to go back and explore it in more depth and spend a little bit more time there. So somewhere like that, I think, would be great to see during Chinese New Year, especially because when we went last time, it felt like such a rich place in terms of the ethnic minorities that were there, the Miaozu and all the other different ethnic minorities. I would be interested to see if they have any unique traditions in how they spend Chinese New Year. But I think Yunnan for me would definitely be around the top of my list of what I'd like to visit during Chinese New Year.
Oh yeah, Harbin. When I heard like you can fish, like the ice fishing while eating hot pot, I'm sold. Like get me there now. That sounds so exciting. Yeah, no, I think, yeah, of course, I've been to Sanya a couple of times, and yeah, I would also motivate everyone to go. I mean, it's beautiful there. But yeah, I think Harbin definitely has been on my list for more than a year now, actually. So I'm just, I have to go. And especially after hearing that, yeah, no, I'm going now.
Were there any surprises or cultural shocks in the way Spring Festival is celebrated in China?
I think, yeah, honestly, for me, I don't think there was because I think, if anything, one surprise, I wouldn't say it's a cultural shock, but I was in fact surprised by how much I felt there were similarities between Chinese New Year and other festivals around the world. Despite all the obvious cultural differences and the traditions, I think the fact that it's a time of family coming together and it's something that all the kids really look forward to and that everyone has their own different reason for looking forward to it. Maybe the parents want some time off work, they want some time to eat some nice food. The kids want to get their gifts or their money in Chinese New Year, and they're looking forward to having that period off. I think it surprised me how similar some of that is, while also being so obviously different in the traditions. I think it really feels like a lot of humanity. When we come to a major festival, we just want some of the same feelings. We want to be able to relax, we want to be able to see family, we want to be able to enjoy food together. And I think that was really special for me because although it was, I guess, a surprise to see that it was so similar while also being so different. It just meant that I didn't have any culture shock because I felt that actually a lot of these feelings also applied to me. Even though I was spending it with my Chinese family, my wife and her parents-in-law, it meant that I could still really feel like I was part of that family and it was another home to me. So yeah, I think it was definitely a surprise, but not a culture shock.
Yeah, I think I had a culture shock. I think it's the food. Like I thought if you only eat like Chinese New Year Eve and Chinese New Year Day, like you have a big meal with the family. But when I went with my friends, different friends to their hometowns, like the moment you stop there until the moment you leave, like you are eating the whole time. And it's not like for foreigners, we just eat like on Christmas Day, a big meal. No, for Chinese people, it's like every single meal is this big prepared meal and it's just eating. And then after you ate, then you're eating seeds and oranges all the time, like these sunflower seeds. So it's like your mouth just never stops moving during this time.
Well, yeah, and then let's deal with the weight later. And maybe, it's not an issue, which is even better. Yeah, but food is such a important part of obviously Spring Festival and so many of the Chinese festivals we like are good food. It's like we're a nation of proud foodies. How has living in China changed your understanding of the country and its people? What do you wish people back home knew about China?
So for me, I know a lot of people don't have the opportunity to come here. Like I would love everyone to come here. Like I'm trying to bring my whole family over to visit because I think once people came here, all the stereotypes that they have about China in the West will be gone, vanished. Because Chinese people are so friendly, so welcoming to foreigners. And especially during this time, like how strong the family cultures are together. Like Jack said before, all the different generations walking around together and it's this big family being together all the time. I wish that everyone can experience that. And if there's one thing that I can say about, to the West about Chinese people is probably what you heard is not the truth. Like Chinese people are so nice, so welcoming, so friendly. And yeah, if you ever see a Chinese person in your country, greet them, I can guarantee that it's going to be a pretty good conversation where two cultures collide.
When you come to China and you spend time with people here, whether it's families or your friends, you quickly realize that we are far more alike than we are different. And I think no matter what you heard before you come or, what your misconceptions or expectations might be, I think there's really no comparison to just going yourself and actually experiencing it. And I've never met anyone who has come to China and had a bad experience and not enjoyed their journey. Like everyone, whether it's my family coming over or friends or other tourists that I've met and asked them how they're finding it, everyone has said that they find it so friendly. Like everyone is incredibly welcoming. Everyone is really happy that you have chosen China as a travel destination. And I think that makes people proud. And obviously for my Chinese major course, because I did Chinese at university, for all of us international students there, it was a similar feeling. Everyone was so proud that we were making an effort to learn Chinese and that this was a language that had interested us. And so I think everyone is just really welcoming and positive. And I think that is something that really makes you feel good when you're traveling in the country. Harbin especially so. I think Harbin, it's since I came here and spent time living in Harbin, it's so easy to just get talking to another table in a restaurant or the restaurant owner or someone in the supermarket and end up chatting for 20, 30 minutes and like forgetting what you were, what you came out to do, because everyone just wants to talk and everyone is just so friendly. But I think it's really something that if you don't come to China, it's very hard to understand that and experience it yourself.
And beyond the New Year's celebrations, which aspects of Chinese culture have impacted you the most?
So I remember the first year I came to China, I was, it was an unfamiliar environment, walking along this riverside and there was children. And I remember it was just parents, grandparents dancing around with kids. And I walked past and they grabbed my hand and they pulled me in and we all danced together. And I think that was the first day that I felt like China could be home to me in the future. That was the first day I felt, okay, this is not an unfamiliar environment anymore. I'm not scared anymore. I don't miss home that much anymore. Yeah, just being embraced by the Chinese people, dancing around and laughing. Even though we didn't understand each other, you could just feel the warmth of that moment.
I think in terms of how it's impacted me the most, I think it's definitely made me realize a little bit more for me the importance of families. I don't want to fall into the stereotype of Western parents just throw their kids out at 18 and say goodbye and never see them again. Because, obviously I'm here back staying with my parents for Christmas at the age of, nearly 30. So you can see they're obviously welcoming me back. But I think it was partly because it was the first time I'd been away from my home for so long. It's hard to say whether it was Chinese culture or just the fact that I was living a place, the other side of the world for my own home. But I think being here in China, it really made me realize the importance of having family time and being able to spend that time with your family. And I think whether it's Christmas with my family in the UK or Chinese New Year with my family in China, I think hopefully moving forward, I'm able to do that every single year. It's definitely impacted me and it's made me realize just how important I think those times with your family are.
And what advice would you give someone who's experiencing the Chinese New Year for the very first time?
I would say just embrace it. I think a lot of people are scared to come to China during Chinese New Year because they've seen the crowd, right? They've seen the pictures, the news, all the cars on the highway. But there's no other time during the year where you can really experience Chinese culture, such as the Chinese New Year. So anyone experiencing for the first time, embrace it. Enjoy the crowds, go out there. You're going to be busy, but just embrace it. Enjoy the moment with all the Chinese people, all the celebrations, and be a part of it. Yeah, keep your mind wide open.
For someone experiencing Chinese New Year for the first time, it's similar to what Lizzy mentioned about, I think, embracing everything, but especially with the food, just literally try everything. Because I'm sure if it's the first time you're experiencing Chinese New Year, especially if you're able to be lucky enough to be in a home with a Chinese family and you're having a lot of home cooked food, there will for sure be a lot of stuff that you have not tried before and you do not know what it is. But just embrace it and try it, and I'm sure you will find that 90% of the new things that you try are instantly some of your new favorite foods. So
yeah, these are some great advice. And Actually, I do have a question for you guys that is less about the Chinese New Year, but more about what you do. Both of you have arrived in China at different times, doing different things, and your life paths are different. But both of you have become content creators in China. I'm so curious to hear what prompted you to take on this side gig. And before we turned on the mic, both of you seem to be very inclined to do this as your main gig one day. I wonder if it's something that's about the Gen Z, or is there something else going on? So could you care to enlighten us a little bit on that?
Yeah, so for me, it was mostly about my family and friends back home. They doesn't know much about China. So I started making videos for them and I sent it to them. And still a lot of people ask me the same question. So I thought, hey, let me just make a YouTube channel just for them. And suddenly my YouTube channel started growing and people started asking me more questions. And I just made some content and I realized how little the world knows about China. And ever since, my motivation has just grown to just show China, to really just start traveling all around China and show the real China, because it is true, like not a lot of people have the opportunity to come here. So I feel like now it's my responsibility to show them what China really is like as someone living here and experiencing it in real life.
Yeah, I think it's similar for me. I've loved talking about my stories and sharing stories, ever since I came to China. I started actually doing some social media content just to push myself to learn Chinese, because I would push myself to make videos completely in Chinese while I was at university. And I think that helped me improve a little bit and also helped me understand an entirely different side of internet Chinese that, you don't see in the textbooks. So that definitely helped my language skills. But I think in sort of the last 6-7 months since I left my full-time job, I think it really just hit home how, like similar to Lizzy said, how many misconceptions there are in the world, whether it's information that people in China want to know more about the UK and life in the UK or in Europe, or whether it's things that people in Europe or outside of China don't know about living in China. I think there's so many misconceptions nowadays, and there's so much misinformation out there that for me, I just wanted to be able to make a difference, no matter how small, about sharing what I always have felt is a very authentic experience. So I think from a lot of my videos, I'm trying to portray something that feels authentic to me. And I am trying to show, that this is how I'm living here. And this is what a lot of people who live here go through. I think for me, it's about educating, but in a fun and entertaining way. I'm hoping that people will watch my content and they will not just kind of swipe away and completely forget about it, but actually think, oh, that was really interesting. I feel like I learned something there. Or maybe even find it so interesting that you share it with someone else and you say, oh, look at this. There's some interesting kind of things to learn from this video. I think that's definitely something that has inspired me. For me, it's almost like a kind of new form of educating and sharing stories. So I think it's definitely something that I have found to be really fun. And of course, there's always the nice thing that comes with the flexibility and freedom of not having an employer over your head. That's obviously been a bit of a blessing as well.
I wonder if you have watched the CMG China Media Group Spring Festival Gala. For decades, it's become a contemporary tradition for most people living here in China. Sometimes you don't even have to follow it religiously, but it's important to have in the background when you're having the feast. So it's like a part of the celebrations. And have you guys taken part in that? Or have you watched some of the shows, some snippets of the CMG Spring Festival Gala in the past? And would you be watching this year? Anything that you look forward to seeing?
Yeah. Obviously, last year when I was able to spend Chinese New Year with my family and how been, it was on TV all night, as I'm sure it is for 99% of Chinese families. As you say, whether or not we were always watching it or whether it was just in the background, that really depended on the time of day. But there were moments where we'd finished eating for the evening and we were all sitting down on the sofa and we were all watching it together. But I think for me, what actually sticks out more is some old clips that my wife showed me of some performances that she watched when she was young. Especially because she's from Heilongjiang and Dongbei, this kind of area. There was a actor called Zhao Benxian who I think did a lot of old funny clips on some of the media galas. I'm not sure exactly what what date, maybe 10, 15 years ago now. But my wife, when she was young, used to enjoy watching those, and she showed some of those clips. And I found those very funny. I really enjoyed a lot of those old clips, to the point where we actually started watching his old TV shows together again. So before we came back, we were watching Mada Shuai for like 2 months straight, just because we'd seen so much of Zhao Benxia's Chinese New Year gala old clips, and I really wanted to go and watch like more of his TV shows. So that's definitely something that's stuck in the memory for me. Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, it's also like you said, it's not, you don't have to, but it's always just there. Like every time I go to different families, like it's always in the background playing. And I remember there was a dance, I think the dance was called something like Dance in the Morning. And it was like a bunch of women with Shanghai in the background just dancing. And I remember we all stopped eating for a moment. And because Chinese New Year is happening, like it's kind of chaos all the time, right? It's very busy. But I remember that moment for me, I was just looking around the table. Everyone stopped eating. Even the kids were quiet. And we were all just watching this dance of all these women dressed in their traditional Chinese clothes and doing this, beautiful elephant dances. And yeah, it was just like a quiet, peaceful, beautiful moment.
Yeah. Well, for this 4-hour long show, if not longer, you'll see the sketches, you'll hear the songs, see the huge dance numbers, and it's got, also acrobatic performances, just everything being shown in the 4 hours, or actually longer than that, which is definitely a signature part of so many celebrations that makes Spring Festival the most important holiday for the Chinese people. And the last question for you guys before I let you go is, please share your holiday wishes to our global audience during this very special festive period for all Chinese people.
I think just no matter where you are in the world, I hope you are able to spend the time with your family. I hope you are able to relax and rest and recover, and make sure that you eat a lot of amazing food. 新年快乐，恭喜发财。
Oh, great. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I wish, I hope you guys can be around your families. And if you can't, just enjoy the time. And as you guys are talking about the next year, please take some time to reflect on the year that has passed and talk about the good moment, because you made it. You're at another Chinese New Year having a good time by yourself, with your family, with your friends, and just enjoy the moment, enjoy the food, and just, be in the moment right now and just enjoy it. Yeah, like he said, 春节快乐，新年快乐，恭喜发财。
Oh, wonderful. You both have impressed me the most with your Mandarin today, alongside your wonderful thoughts. As we wrap up today's special Spring Festival edition of Roundtable, it's clear that Chinese New Year isn't just a time for celebration. It's a chance for all of us, whether local or international, to come together, reflect, and embrace the richness of culture and tradition. Lizzy and Jack, thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's always great to talk about the Chinese New Year, and happy Chinese New Year.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been lovely to talk, and I've loved being able to share some of my experiences here in China with Chinese New Year. So happy Chinese New Year.
It's inspiring to hear how you've immersed yourselves in China's vibrant New Year celebrations and rich culture, and have made such meaningful lives here. We wish you both a joyful and prosperous Chinese New Year. And to all our listeners, no matter where you're celebrating, may this holiday bring you moments of connection, joy, and a little bit of adventure.